All right, let's go and get started. So let's go ahead and fire up our Rig 101 controllers. For someone to do is go ahead and get let's do a 180-degree arc. I'm going to name that Mouth Con. And we're going to go ahead and rotate it -90 degrees. And let's just go ahead and put it up here on the, right here on the mesh. Kind of see where we want it. It's a bit wide, so I kind of want this to fit the initial, basically just the shape of the jaw, essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, let's go and turn symmetry on, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of reshape this thing. That guy. I'm using soft select. And it should have symmetry on. Why is it not? Let's do world. Oh, it's because I turned it on its side, but let's do, yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, I'm just trying to get some sort of symmetry. All right. I'm just gonna reshape this. Honestly, just purely for aesthetic purposes, just to make it look nice. Something like that. That'll work. That's a nice looking controller. All right, cool. We're going to use that. Need to go to modify freeze transformations, of course. Did not freeze the rotate XYZ. If you remember one of the last videos, I actually changed the freeze transformations. So make sure and change that. There we go. Now we're fully frozen. Okay, cool. But you'll notice that the pivot point is set here, which it does not need to be. I was putting my jaw pivot joint somewhere right about there, okay? So I'm gonna put my pivot point for this controller right here, okay? So I'm gonna hold down D and V and just move it and snap it right there. So then when I move the controller, it's gonna move right there, okay? I don't need an offset joint for this thing yet. I don't think I'm gonna need one really, just because it's, you know, the controller or the mesh itself is pretty much in line with the Z-axis. So I think I'm good. If you have a character that's mouth is not in line with the Z-axis, then you probably would need to use an offset group. You know, just make that decision on what you think you need to best serve your character. Okay, so you just need to make that decision yourself. So we'll go ahead and just call this mouth con. Let's go ahead and make another one. I'm going to make a prism. Let's do, this is going to be my head controller. Actually, no, let's go back to flat shapes. Yeah, I'm just going to do a triangle. And this is going to be our main head controller. And I'm kind of just doing a triangle because like his head is kind of triangular as it is. Really no other reason than that. Okay. And so this head controller is going to be something that I can use to kind of rotate the head from uh, basically like this pivot point right here. Okay, so I can rotate the entire head. Yeah, it'll just be useful to have that there. Plus, I can also attach other things to it if I need to. So it'll be good and useful. All right. Control vertice. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's just 3. Yeah, that makes sense. It's only 3. Okay, so I'm just going to pull one right here. Objects X. Okay. And we'll just kind of put that controller right there. And we're going to rename this head controller or head con. Of course, it's also going to need to have our transformations frozen. I'm also going to do a look at controller. For the char, actually, I do have a vision controller as well. This guy actually works really well. Visually, I don't like it that much. I don't think it looks that good. So I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use a circle, and I'll show you how to make one like I did in the previous video, or the one like I had there. I like that one visually better. Okay. So I'm just going to basically just going to put it right here in the center. Just trying to get it pretty well centered with the level of the eyes. Move it out. Right about there. Modify, freeze transformations. Control D. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it. And I'm going to jump into my front view. Okay. So that's going to be the placement of these two controllers. I'm going to freeze those transformations. And let's just shrink this down a little bit. I'm going to refreeze that. And then we'll take these control points and just shrink them together. Okay, that's all it is. So I'm going to call this one left eye look at con. Right eye look at con. And I'm going to call this look at con. Okay. All right. Simple, easy peasy. All right. Other controllers we're going to need some joints on the lips. So we'll actually throw those joints in, and then we'll need to do, he doesn't really have a brow, so I don't think I'm going to do brow joints on him. Maybe some blend, maybe a blend shape or something. But we'll need some lip, and then we'll need some tongue controllers as well. So we're going to need to do the ribbon spine on the tongue. Okay. So let's go and organize all this first. So mouth con, actually right eye, left eye, that's going to go at look at con. Mouth con, look at con. They're both going to go under head con. Okay. So basically that means that wherever this head con moves, it's going to move the other controllers. Okay. And oh yeah, we're going to need to have some other controllers as well for any blend shapes that we end up making. Okay. So that'll come in a little bit. Let's go ahead and pause the video. And actually, you know what? No, never mind. Let's just go ahead and disconnect. Let's just connect these controllers real quick. That's easy. All right. Let's do the mouth controller. So I'm going to do mouth. And that is going to control the jaw pivot. And I'm going to do that with a orient constraint, maintain offset turned on. Test. Okay, looks good. The head is going to control, let's see, what joint do I want it to control? Let's see, this one's already got a constraint on it, so it's going to have to be this one right here. But I do kind of want it to go from this pivot point, because that really would be the physically where you would actually pivot point from. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's change our pivot point for the head. I'm going to go ahead and snap that down to right there, okay? So when I rotate the head, it's going to rotate from that position. But we're going to be controlling this joint. So it's going to be controller, joint, and then we're going to do constrain, and it's going to be a orient constraint, okay? Let's check it. Okay. Just rotate around, make sure we don't have any weird transformations. I am getting some weirdness right through here with the jaw. So I'm not liking that. I don't think the orient constraint is really what I need. So let's change that. Okay, I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to do, let's try a parent constraint. I think that'll work a little bit better because that's going to give me that offset. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm going to do the parent constraint. Oh, shoot, I accidentally put, I think I actually put on the wrong joint accidentally. My bad. Okay, let's redo that, make sure we got it right. So correct joint, okay. 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 All right. And we want to go ahead and put the head controller, we want to nest that under the top neck controller. Okay. So I grab that and I can rotate that around. That looks good. That's exactly what I want. That's what I should get. Okay. So as I rotate that neck around, I should get some nice, beautiful movement. Look how beautifully fluid that is. It's really good. That's awesome. I'm excited for this rig. Okay. All right, next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and connect the eye controllers to the eye joints, okay? So the eye joint to the eye controller. That is gonna be from the look at for each particular eye controller. So this one is gonna go to the center eye joint, not the eye tip. The eye tip doesn't connect to anything. It's going to be the center eye joint. Because if you think about it this way, that's the pivot point for the eye. All right, that's what I want, is the pivot point for the eye. So I'm going to do look at for the left eye center joint, and then I'm going to use an aim constraint. I want that eye to follow wherever the look at controller goes to. Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Grab the right one, grab the right center eye joint, and do aim. Okay. So I want to make sure that that is good. And if I move this around, you'll see that it moves around with it. If I grab the other one, it moves around with it. And then you'll see if I move this around, it moves around with it. Okay. That's good. That's exactly what we want. Test it, move around, make sure we don't have any double transformations at this point. I don't see any, so I think we're good. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn on the mesh again. And let's go ahead and stop, and I'll go and do the, let's do the tongue. I'll do the tongue next. So we'll go and pause here, and I'll start working on the tongue.